Another week of comics are in the books, and today I'm going to be sharing with you all my pull list reviews. I'm going to be reviewing each and every single one of the books that I picked up from my local comic shop and be giving you my top 3 picks of the week, the books that I really enjoyed. Thank you all so much for joining us. Hopefully you had an amazingly happy and safe Thanksgiving. I'm Alex. This is Graphic Novel Collector. Let's not waste any time. Let's jump into the books. First up, we're going to start with DC Comics, and we have Absolute Wonder Woman, issue number 2 by Thompson, Sherman, and Belair. And this book was another great showing by Thompson and Belair. And within the pages of this one, we saw Wonder Woman, Princess Diana, the Princess of Hell, meet, what is that, Steve Trevor? Steve Trevor? I'm not a big Wonder Woman fan, but this is the first introduction of Steve Trevor, and I like how they kind of kept him pretty much the same person. He showed up in hell. Is he dead? Well, according to Diana, according to Wonder Woman, he is not dead. He's stuck in between, but they do meet, and he's essentially the same person as the Prime Universe Steve Trevor. They get into it with the U.S. military on how to deal with these, these Hellbats or whatever they are. We do get to see the Hellsteed that she rides in on, and at the end of the issue, there is a huge reveal that I'm not going to share with you. You have to read the book. But overall, I'm still really liking this book. I'm digging it quite a bit. I think overall, I'll give this one 3.5 stars. Not quite as good as the first issue, in my opinion, but we are starting to expand on the world of Absolute Wonder Woman. And overall, that is good. I like what Kelly Thompson's doing here. The art is really solid. And yeah, that's Absolute Wonder Woman. Moving on to another DC book, we've got Green Arrow. And oh baby, I really like this series thus far. This is by Chris Condon and Montos. And I really love the artwork. Let me get to one of these pages where it just shows off the art so well. You see, this is kind of taking it back. Green Arrow is kind of on his own in this one. And, oh my gosh, I really like it. Look at this. He's kind of doing some detective work. Very Batman-esque, kind of, actually. But, you know, he meets someone here, and he's unwavering. You know, he's like, you're poisoning people. And this book was a very quick read. It flew by, honestly. And you do have a backstory in the back of Two-Face. But overall, I'm really liking it. This is, of course, the new story arc. But yeah, if you like Green Arrow, you're going to like this. If you don't like Green Arrow, you're not going to like this. Another 3.5 star book, DC All In, continues to kill it. And I really am enjoying the reboot thus far. All right, moving on over to Marvel, we have the Uncanny X-Men. This is issue number 6. This is, of course, by Gail Simone and artist Javier Garron. And in this issue, the kids go back to school. So we have Jitter, Ransom, Deathstream, and Calico. We get a little bit more backstory on Calico and how basically her mom lied to her and told her that she wasn't a mutant this whole time. Her whole life, she was never told she was a mutant. But then you have Gambit talk to her and just tell her, you're a mutant. You're a mutant. And then finally she accepts. She's like, I'm a mutant. And it was a nice touching moment. And we have, of course, Wolverine recovering from his injuries with his battle with Sarah Gaunt. But the big thing in this story is Jubilee and Nightcrawler go out into public, and something happens to where Jubilee gets stolen, essentially. She gets kidnapped by, we don't know who. We don't know who, but there's a huge scene where Nightcrawler comes in and is like, what the heck happened here? Might be blood. Overall, though, I'm still liking this series. It is good, but we've got this B plot of the kids in school. Not a huge fan of that, to be honest. This, in my opinion, not to say that this issue was bad per se, but this was my least favorite issue of the Uncanny X-Men thus far. And I know this is the first issue of a new arc, so those can kind of drag typically. Overall, though, I'm going to give this 2.5 stars. Again, not a bad grade. 2.5 stars is not a bad grade. It's middle road. It's essentially like a C. But, yeah, this one just didn't do it for me. A lot of downtime, not a whole ton of action. And I get it. Not every issue can be action-packed. But this one just didn't do it for me. I really, really love the art in this book, though. The art, Condone? Garon, actually, absolutely killing it, especially for a Marvel book. And Marvel books aren't nearly as gorgeous as DC books these days. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed Uncanny X-Men. But unfortunately, it was just a stepping stone, I think, to a bigger story. Definitely sticking with this series. Moving on to the Amazing Spider-Man. This is issue 62. This is the second part of the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. And this is by Joe Kelly and McGinnis. McGinnis absolutely crushing it. Ed McGinnis on the art. And look at this art. Huge, beautiful splash page. Right off the rip when you open the book. Gorgeous stuff. And in this issue, we have Spider-Man working with the former Sorcerer Supreme, Doctor Strange, and he's kind of teaching him. And look at this, we get a appearance from Black Cat, because of course Black Cat should be in a Spider-Man book from time to time. She's been gone forever, but they're basically sitting there, of course. Peter Parker's making jokes about everything, and Doctor Strange trying to reel him in. He's like, look, I got all these reeds. I can come back to life. It's going to be all good. But we get our second battle with, I forget the name of the guy who we're battling against here. But, Krytrok. Yeah. So we get the second battle, and they're actually at the Mets Stadium, the New York Mets Stadium, and that's where it's Citi Field. That's where they battle in this one. So funny, and the art's absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, look, they have a huge battle. And no, this issue was good, and we do have a reveal of who the next person that Spider-Man's going to be battling, and it looks like to be this little devil girl. I don't know, but I've been loving this series. It's very fun. I'm really enjoying it. And I will definitely give this one 3.5 stars. Very solid rating by me. Definitely, if you're not reading The Amazing Spider-Man now, you definitely should be, starting with issue 61, which was the first issue of the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. Joe Kelly's doing a pretty darn good job. Alrighty, next up to the indies, we've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Of course, this is the new series by Jason Aaron and Chris Burnham. And yeah, we finally get to Donatello's art. And this was a lot more wordy than pretty much all of the other issues thus far, but for good reason. That doesn't mean that we don't see a lot of action. I really do like Chris Burnham's art here because it reminds me a lot of Kevin Eastman. Yes, and it looks like Donnie's pretty famished. As you can see, the way that Burnham draws him, I mean, he looks like a stick. He looks like a twig, if you can see that. So, but basically, he's being kept captive by this group of people. We don't really know who it is, but they're basically having to fight people, and these people will pay to fight these mutants basically to the death. But Donnie's never lost, and in this scenario, they don't let the mutants kill the humans. It's only one-sided. So if a mutant's gonna die, that's fine. But if a human's about to die, they'll end the fight, right? So, and then these rich people, they pay money to do this. And basically in this issue, Donnie's basically prepping to, on the following day, be able to get out of the situation and free all the other mutants. However, instead of doing his normal fight, he's got to face all of the people, all of the jerks that have fought him before. They're just going to gang up on him and try and basically kill him. And of course, that doesn't go so well for those bad guys. Donnie's able to put up a resistance, and we get a really awesome shot. Look at that. That is so sick. He's wielding his stick. He's like with the turtle who fights no matter the odds with nothing but grit and a stick. And then we do finally have all four of the turtles all together. And yes, they have their issues with one another, but in the end, they still love each other. And you can kind of see that Donnie's lost it because he thinks that Master Splinter is like this dead rat that he found in his cell, essentially. And it's pretty wild. But Jason Aaron, overall, doing an excellent job. I'm loving this series. 3.5 stars for this one. Next issue, it looks like we're going to see the Foot really in full force. And yeah, I'm really, really excited. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is one of my favorite series. Not only this series, but just in general, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, something I love even from a child. And yeah, I'm digging Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Jason Aaron run thus far. Next up, we have Napalm Lullaby. Okay, so with this one, this book hasn't been... Like, the last issue was a couple of months ago, so honestly, I forgot a lot of what the heck was happening in this book. Rick Remender is the artist who I love, and Bengal on the art. And yeah, basically, we realize that our main protagonist here, he was dreaming. This is issue 7, so it looks like he was dreaming the first 6 issues, which is kind of frustrating, to be honest. He wakes up next to, I don't know if that's his wife or his squeeze or his lover or what, but it looks like his wife. And basically, he's like, I had a bad dream, blah, blah, blah. And then he has a conversation with this guy who's like telling him a bunch of stuff. I don't know. This book, I forgot what happened in the last one. He gets into a fight. But basically, this is a book where there is a theocracy, so the government is basically run by a religion, and they're overstepping their bounds and kind of, they're not treating the people very well. This does talk about religion in a very on-the-nose manner, so if that's not something you really want to engage with, definitely skip this book. But for me, Rick Remender, I really like typically what he says in his books, because all of his books have kind of a message, and it's a counter. He very much speaks to the counterculture, and I really like Napalm Lullaby, even though in this issue I didn't know like what the heck was really happening. It's like, I don't know what you're saying, but I like how you're saying it, kind of a deal, which sounds ridiculous, but for the most part, it's true. 3.5 stars. I really enjoy this book, even though I feel kind of like, I get it. Lullaby is in the title. So, but the fact that he was dreaming, I think, in the last 6 issues is kind of a bummer. Because we got to a point where they were like taking this gear off and it felt like they were in the Matrix. So I kind of thought that was a lullaby, and then kind of pulled the rug out from underneath you. So, all right, Napalm Lullaby, 3.5 stars. Rick Remender keeps it going. Next up, we've got Feral Part 8. Ho, baby. Was this issue something else, or was this issue something else? Very, very strong consideration to be in the top 3, but there were some great books this week. So basically, Elsie and Gigi and all the kitties find Lord, of course, at the end of issue 7. Elsie here has a vision where they're saying, you're not safe. You'll never be safe in that house. And basically, we find, yes, there is Lord, safe and sound, at least for now. But throughout this issue, it's really creepy because the lady keeps us, the lady saves us, the lady keeps us. They keep repeating this. All the cats keep repeating this. And there's like hundreds of cats. They realize that this house is like overrun. It just probably smells like cat pee. Elsie's like, where's the litter box? And Lord says, well, you can go to the bathroom wherever. So obviously this old lady that has taken all these cats in is kind of lost her marbles here and is like literally a crazy old cat lady. What we learn in Feral, if nothing else, is that humans cannot be trusted with the safety and well-being of cats. And yeah, they find, Elsie finds a door where there's cats locked behind it. She can hear them, but there's a door, and obviously cats can't open doors. But actually, at the end of it, we do find that the door does get open, and I'm not going to reveal exactly what was hiding behind the door. But here, I'll just show you a little teaser there as she's scratching at it. They finally do get the door open, and the reveal, again, Feral's been crushing it. This is, of course, Tony Fleece, Trish Forstner, and Tone Rodriguez, and colored by Brad Simpson. All 4 of these individuals absolutely crushing it. This book is awesome. Definitely a contender, in my opinion, for top book of 2024 thus far. And I will have a top video of top comics of 2024 video coming out sooner than later. All right, moving on. I guess I'm going to give that issue solid 4 stars. Solid 4 stars. That book's absolutely crushing it. Next up, we have the final issue of this is Frankenstein, Universal Monsters Frankenstein, and this is Michael Walsh, who is the writer and artist, and I just gotta say, look at this art. Look at this art. It's absolutely gorgeous, as every issue has been, but we have the chilling conclusion to this series, and from here we get a ton of classic scenes from the movie. You get Frankenstein throwing the girl into the lake, and that prompts all of the people to kind of lose their mind, and of course they pick up, pitchforks and things, and they go and basically, yeah, they kill Frankenstein, but not before Frankenstein the monster throws Frankenstein off, and unfortunately, obviously, we know that guy's a schmuck and a scumbag. He survives, of course, because there's no justice. But the little boy whose father had, the hand of this kid's father is used as Frankenstein. There's a touching little moment here at the end. But no, this was a great series. Michael Walsh absolutely crushing it this year. One of my favorite new writers. I don't actually know. I never really heard of him until this year, Michael Walsh. But he's absolutely crushing it with this. And Knoll Drifter, that series is really good too. I'm giving this 4 stars overall. Frankenstein, this is only issue 4. It's only a 4-part series. But holy smokes, folks. This was excellent. This was a full, complete, nice little mini-series, and I loved every single issue. I think it was within my top 3 several times when it came out. So, yeah, Frankenstein was awesome. Frankenstein was awesome. Definitely pick this up. This is definitely going to have like a hardcover version, and I am 1000% picking it up. Michael Walsh is one of my favorite new creators, at least new to me. But yeah. If this wouldn't have been a stacked week, that would have 1000% have been in top 3. But before we get to the top 3, if you're enjoying this kind of content and you like almost daily content from me here on the channel, consider subscribing. My name is Alex, again, graphic novel collector. Like, comment, subscribe. I love talking with you, hearing your suggestions about comic books. And yeah, so with all that, YouTuber stuff out of the way. Let's get to the top 3. And at 3, we've got Detective Comics. Whoo, baby. This is issue 1091 of Detective Comics. And this is Tom Taylor and Mikel Janin. And I just got to say, before we get into the story here, just look at this gorgeous art. Mikel Janin absolutely crushing it. Doing the pencils, doing the coloring, absolutely everything. And the story that Tom Taylor here is creating for us and, you know, showing us here is one where Batman feels old, beat down. You know, he's got years and years and years under his belt. And we do have action pace. Look at this absolutely gorgeous couple pages here to start the book off. Basically, they're going to protect this kid who one of the crime families in Gotham is hunting down. Why, we don't know. And we get an appearance by Superman in this one. And basically, Batman saying, look, I have the ability to take a serum. And if I do that, it'll make me younger. It'll make me live longer. And he's basically talking to Superman about the morality of should I. Because, you know, in Bruce Wayne's mind, he doesn't want to have access to something that the masses don't. But Superman says, well, I know if you are able to get this, and you will be able to get it to the masses. And basically says, this world is a better place with you in it. So if you can live longer than a normal human, you will ultimately make the world a better place for longer. So he, in fact, does decide to get the injection. And within their first mission, he goes out and he's his inner monologue saying, look, I feel stronger, faster, quicker, better. And then we do have a beautiful drawing here by Mikel Janin of the Penguin. I love the way it kind of looks like 89 Batman. And it's gorgeous. But yeah, they saved that little boy. But basically, Batman comes to the Penguin and says, hey, stop hunting this kid. He didn't do anything wrong, because there's actually a kid criminal hunter out there. So there's a criminal, a new supervillain that's hunting children that are criminals. That have been in juvie and things like that. So, yeah, I'm really loving this book. And then we have the B plot, of course, of we don't know what's happening with Joe Chill, because as we were revealed in the first issue of this arc, Thomas Wayne saved Joe Chill's life. And we're going to see throughout this series, I'm sure, how that affects, especially when Bruce Wayne finds that out. Because you know Bruce Wayne's going to find it out. He's the greatest detective on the planet. No chance he's not going to learn that. So I'm really excited to see how that's going to affect him. And I'm really excited to see this new supervillain, Asima, who was in this book barely. But that's all I'm going to say. Overall, though, this was an excellent book. 4.5 stars. Top tier book, top tier storytelling by Tom Taylor, and the art is phenomenal, especially in the fight scenes. Oh my gosh, Mikel Janin absolutely crushing it, as well as Tom Taylor. 4.5 stars, third best book of the week. Next up, we have Grommets. This is by Giant Generator from Image. Rick Remender, Brian Posehn on the writing duties, Brett Parson on the art, and Moreno D'Encino on the colors. And oh baby, as things went sideways, if you think things went sideways last month in last month's issue, oh my gosh, this is issue 6 of 7, so penultimate issue. Oh my gosh, so the jock D-bag comes in, has a gun, and we have this awesome reveal, right? Because last week, freaking Rick got beat up. This week, he's come back. The jocks come back to basically put an end to Brian. He's got a gun. So Brian pulls a shotgun from his dad's room and is like, basically like, get out of here. And then, of course, the cops get involved, and the cops don't believe their story because they're punks. Why would these jocks who are about to go to state, the football team's about to go to state, why would they cause such a ruckus? But basically, our two friends here, they hug it out, and, without saying I love you, man, they say I love you, man. And it was great. I just love Grommets. It's a slice of life that has gotten really real within the last couple of issues, and is a strong contender for me for Book of the Year. Rick Remender, again, as I said earlier when talking about Napalm Lullaby, I vibe with him. Anything he puts out, typically I really enjoy. And Grommets is a much more, I would say, less controversial book, because, again, the first, 4 issues of this book were very just slice of life. These skaters just having fun, skating, trying to find places to skate, meeting girls, trying to hook up with them, just stuff like that. 80s skate punks. And again, I wasn't alive in the 80s, but even in the 90s, I skated. So I get it. I listen to a lot of the bands that these guys listen to, so I dig this. It kind of reminds me of my childhood a little bit, to a less degree. I did. But Grommets, awesome contender for Book of the Year. That was really awesome. Next up, boom! You knew it was going to be on the list. And it's absolutely an amazing read. This is Justice League Unlimited. So we've got every single superhero in the DC universe. Admittedly, I'm much more historically a Marvel guy than a DC guy. Mark Waid, Dan Mora, Tamara Bonvillain on the art, and we can already see off the rip this is going to be a barn burner of a story. You got Firestorm, Black Lightning, Kid Flash, who is that? Star? I forget Star Sapphire, and Superman, Wonder Woman here, and basically they're responding to a distress call in South Africa, and this is awesome. This is starting to set up something really cool. There's a ton of characters in this issue, obviously. Justice League Unlimited, it definitely gives you the vibes from there's so many characters. I'm looking at the League of Comic Book Geeks page right now, and there's just infinite characters in this book that have small cameos that if you are, keen-eyed, you will see them. But no, Mark Waid's absolutely crushing it on this book. Basically, the Flash is showing, who is this guy? Airwave, a new superhero. I don't know who it is. I've never heard of them. But showing off the Watchtower as this is all going on. Batman and Blue Beetle get sent to Costa Rica. Kids are disappearing. That's the B plot. While, of course, all this destruction and mayhem. The Inferno is this group that is kind of perpetrating all of this. And yeah, there's a huge reveal. I don't know. This is just perfect storytelling. Mark Waid knows how to write. Mark Waid knows how to write a superhero comic book like no other. I'll say this is a perfect issue. This is a 5-star book. I absolutely loved it. The art is incredible. When you have one of the best writers with one of the best artists on a book, it tends to be an amazing book. And this does it perfectly. Visual storytelling, beautiful story, beautiful art. Absolutely loving this. Definitely going to keep reading Justice League Unlimited. So there you have it, folks. There are all my books, all my top 3. I guess we'll go through the top 3. Justice League Unlimited was my first favorite book of the week. Sorry this video took a while to get out, but, Thanksgiving. Grommets was my second. I loving the story. Slice of life. Things get real, though. Detective Comics, Tom Taylor's setting something pretty amazing. And just going through the other books, we got Frankenstein. Excellent conclusion to the Universal Monsters horror book. We've got Feral Part 8. This was awesome. Some really creepy things happening in this book. Can't wait to see where it goes. Napalm Lullaby I did like, but I was a little confused because it had been a couple of months since we saw the last issue, but Rick Remender's doing a lot of cool stuff that I vibe with, but might not be for you depending on your tendencies. Then we've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, absolutely crushing it. I love Jason Aaron, and I really, really love Chris Burnham's art on that book. Amazing Spider-Man, I am happy to say, is finally good again. We have Ed McGuinness and Joe Kelly crushing it. Uncanny X-Men, probably my least favorite book of the week, but not because it's bad or anything. Just a slower toned book, and I'm excited to see, and I hope that the next issue will kind of ramp up the punchy and ramp down the talky, as I always like to say. But we've got Green Arrow, issue 18. I love it. I love what we're setting up. Green Arrow's an awesome character. And Chris Condone's a great writer. And then we've got Absolute Wonder Woman. Really digging this. Not as much as the first issue, but I still loved it. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, if you like this kind of content, of course, subscribe. Hit me up on Twitter or Instagram, or please follow me on League of Comic Book Geeks if you want to take a peek at most of the books that I'm checking out. You can check all that out and see all my reviews each and every single week, typically before I post these videos. But thank you all so much for watching. Keep reading comics, keep collecting comics, and until the next one, I'll catch y'all on a flippy flop. Adios, everyone.